All right, so I'm going to talk to you about a very powerful technique, and it's very rarely talked about. This technique is stopping, meaning you set your target, right, which is the most important part, knowing where you're going. You set your target, you've arrived in the general vicinity of the place you're going to, and so you stop. This is difficult because you're used to moving, because you're always in danger, or you're possibly going to lose an opportunity. This is the constant state of life. However, what you need to do, should you be in the vicinity of your goal, should you be in the promised land, should you be near where you're supposed to be going, you need to stop. This is against your nature as a human to stop. Imagine sitting and doing nothing. You might actually start going mad. If you don't believe me, try sitting down and not doing anything for 1 hour. It is against your nature to stop moving. And this is my advice to you today, should you be in the general vicinity of your target. This requires a defined target, meaning I would like to be able to do 100 press-ups in a day, or I would like to be able to make such and such an amount in a month when it comes to income, right? If you're trying to make 100,000 and you're making 80,000, realize that you're in the promised land. We live in a world of almost, meaning that you're not really ever going to get there fully in the way that you think it should be, yeah? Somehow, part of the game is not quite. This is part of the game. And you need to be very used to not quite and allowing of not quite in order to have a peace in your mind. Yes, you could have a very precise target, but what I'm saying to you is don't overshoot. Yeah? 99% is good. 95% is good. 90% is good. 85% is good. 80% is good. Should you be 80% there, slow down and make small adjustments. What will throw you off from slowing down is not allowing your mind to come to present time, not allowing your mind to be where you are, and having your mind be in the past or in a possible future. If you're in the past, what will happen is you'll be imagining dangers or remembering them from where you're coming from, and you will behave in such a way that you cannot move forward, you cannot change technique, and therefore you cannot adapt to present time situation. You can't adapt to right now. Should your mind be in the future, you'll be thinking of possible dangers of the future, and you will not be able to adapt to present time. So it becomes a technique of being where you are, which sounds simple, but I'll tell you what. The nature of the mind is to produce sanity, but also part of the nature of the mind is to project. Do you see? So it makes it a little nuts. At any point in time, you're thinking about the future and you're thinking about the past. So you need to actually set aside a block of time to be in the present so that you can see that you have reached your goal more or less. Right? Should you be almost at the hole in golf, you do not then proceed to drive with all your might. You nudge the ball in. And the essence of the video that I'm making for you today is to let you know to nudge. It's not always a super hardcore, intense drive that is necessary, and the actual defining moment, in the defining moment, that makes your efforts into a consolidated power, something that doesn't change or leave you. You need to somehow slow things down. Realize that wealth is illiquid. Right? This means that wealth is not in the form of flowing money, usually. They dump it into real estate, they dump it into art, they dump it into jewelry, they dump it into gold. But always, it's inside something, and this thing is not moving, because the essence of power is stability. So realize that in your transition towards reaching power, there should be an element of stability. You should stabilize. And usually this is not at a sprint. The time period I'm talking about is when things are going normally for you in business, and normally means things are going pretty much how they should be. This is not perfectly. Perfectionism can also throw you off, you know? And you need to understand that as much as I have a rose in my pocket, it's worn down from going through the day. And it's somewhat fallen apart, but I'll tell you what, it doesn't make it any less beautiful. And it doesn't make it less valid a rose in my pocket. It doesn't make it any less a completion of my outfit that the rose is falling apart. Do you see? This is 80% of where I want it to be. But it's still beautiful. You need to be able to accept that this is the promised land once you step into it. And you need to be comfortable with not moving when you're there.